All right. We here. Welcome to the Morning Smoke Live. For the night, it is your host, the underscore truth 1987. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Mellow Miller. Welcome, sir. How's it
Hey,
going, man?
good to be here, man. Good to be here. No complaints, man. I've enjoyed the first couple episodes, and um, hey, just
I
looking to
have
go,
to. I have
looking
to.
to go up to 3-0, man. That's it.
Nah. It's definitely not 3-0. No, no, no. It's not 3-0. You feel like it is, but it's not. So that's fine, and that's okay. That's all right. I wouldn't expect anything less from a LeBron fan. So,
Wow.
but anyways, welcome back, everyone. We are back for episode 3 of the Jordan versus LeBron James conversation and determining who the goat is. Who the goat is. We talked about I think statistics and analytics. We talked about the eye test. Today we're going to talk about longevity, and as I already stated before, it's going to be an easy show today because I even agree with my co-host on this when it comes to this particular conversation. But before we go into all of that, what is longevity? Let's define what we mean by longevity when it comes to these two. What would you put a definition on for this, sir?
I'll keep it simple. Just the length of what one is able to achieve over an extended period of time. Longer means more longevity. Um, I mean, Jordan could be in the league right now and average 2 points a game. I wouldn't give him credit for still being in the league. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really about sustaining a certain level of excellence. We're talking about the greatest of all time. So we're talking about high achievement here. Yeah. So I think that's what, Kobe went out with a bang, right? He scored, all
60, I think, or something like that.
whatever
Way,
it was
way
in
up.
his last game, right?
Yep.
Kareem didn't. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
played 20 years. Tim Duncan didn't. You right? You know what I mean? So um Dwayne Wade toward the end of his career wasn't putting up that what he averaged in his teens,
Hmm.
right? So I think that's what I'm talking about when I talk about longevity.
Gotcha. I agree. Definitely on the excellence part. Being able to achieve a higher output of stats. I mean, not only just the points, but just an overall career based type scenario for a long extended period of time. Not talking just 1, 2, 3, 4 years, but just a long period of time. And unfortunately, I mean, like I said, I agree with my co-host with this. LeBron has definitely done that. He's coming into his 20th season, and he's still revealed as one of the best to ever do it. So, in his 20th season, I mean, a lot of your people, even with Jordan on the tail end of his career when he had the 2 years, with the Wizards, he wasn't doing what LeBron is doing in year 19 and year 20. So I mean that's nothing to be. There's no hate on that. There's no there's no hate. There's no debate. There's no anything of that nature. I got to give the man his due. He's done it. But I do want to pose a question though, because it was one that came across my mind. Um, so obviously Jordan came up in a different era, right? He came up in the '90s, things of that nature. Not only just and I don't want to keep it to on the court per se. Um, Obviously things have advanced since then, right? So I mean, you have different types of medication, different type of things you can do with your body, different types of treatments, things of that nature. All of that has advanced since the '90s. So my question would be, if Jordan had that same type of opportunity that like a LeBron James has had, do you think he would still have the same type of production like a LeBron?
Um, Two things to that.
Hmm.
First, the answer is no.
Okay.
I don't because of the life choices. Jordan much more enjoyed the pleasures of life than a LeBron.
Okay.
Um,
Explain. I'm just curious. That's why I asked the question.
Smoking, gambling, partying, a little way more than LeBron did. LeBron has all the things, the options available to him that Jordan had. Jordan did not have all the things available to him that LeBron had, and LeBron still made the choices that he made. So
LeBron
if I'm
smokes and
basing it
drinks.
on just their personalities,
LeBron
LeBron
smokes.
made
LeBron smokes and drinks though.
not like Jordan.
Okay.
No, not at all. Um, just let's not even equate the two. But with that being said, no, I don't believe that he would. Not because it wouldn't be available. I just think that his priorities, his personality, would not take him there. But for two, the second thing I'm gonna say about to this to respond to this is, my dad had a saying, and he didn't originate it, but it stuck with me. He said, if the little dog wouldn't have stopped the shit, then he would have caught the rabbit. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm.
So if
So so
uh
when I try
this
to
or if
bring
that,
when I try to bring an honest question to you,
well, it's a
you,
hypothetical that
you
I
say
that we
you
don't
say some
know.
silliness. You say some silliness. This is what
We
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about.
What we do
This is what I'm
know
talking
is
about.
how
This is what I'm
history
talking about.
played out for both of them thus far.
This is what I'm trying to.
And
This is what
so
I'm trying to.
hypothetically, my answer is no. I don't think that he would have the same longevity because I don't think Jordan would care as much.
I disagree. I disagree, and I tell you why. Because obviously, not only that goes in the part of that of the things that I just mentioned. When it comes to um, the different advances in medical technology and therapy. One thing that was not a really big thing back in those 90s is social media. So obviously, a lot of those choices that LeBron has made, I'm glad he made them. But you can't tell me that a social lifestyle that we live in today didn't play a part in some of his decisions. I believe if Jordan had that same eye on him like that back in the day, I have a feeling some of those choices would have changed. That's all I'm gonna say with
Well,
that.
you understand that LeBron started prior to what social media and the
But it was
age
out.
is today. He's been
But it
playing for 20 years.
right. But it was out though. It was
Mm,
still out.
come on, man. It's about capacity, right?
Jordan didn't have MySpace and Black Planet and stuff of that nature back in the day.
Understand that MySpace and Black Planet is nothing like it is today.
But
To
it's a
access
social
that
media.
back in
But
those
it's a
days,
but it's a
no,
social media
no,
avenue.
no,
That's what I'm
let's be
saying.
real. Let's be real though. Let's have a real conversation. To
Let's have
access
it.
what that is back in the day would be from a desktop. It's not on your phones everywhere you go nowadays. They didn't have live feeds. They didn't have cameras on the phones of the quality. Even most people didn't even have phones back in the day that we're talking about.
What in
I'm
LeBron's
just
day?
being honest.
In
I
LeBron's
grew
day?
up.
Hold
I
up, in
grew up in
LeBron's
the
day?
yeah yeah. I had a pager at the end of the '90s, man.
LeBron
Yeah,
had a LeBron had a flip phone
LeBron
back
was
in the
a
day,
millionaire,
and he had a flip phone.
and
He had a
he
phone.
was a. I said LeBron was now a teenager. My 5-year-old son has a cell phone. The difference in the world today from social media and access is totally different than when he started.
But it still was an
And
avenue
understand, he made
that was not
no,
looked
no,
at
no.
in the 90s. That's all I'm saying.
The reason that I bring that up is because LeBron made choices about his lifestyle before he came into the league
You know
that
what type of
Jordan didn't make.
phones that they had back in Jordan's day? I can tell you.
Yeah,
I
what
can tell
about
you.
it? It's
They
not.
had
I'm not comparing
they
it
had
to Jordan.
they had the car phones back in the day.
You're not
The big
understanding what I'm
brick
saying.
brick carrying
I'm not
package.
comparing it to Jordan.
I'm just saying, man. That makes a
Jordan
difference
did Jordan didn't grow up in this era at all. I'm
at
saying
all.
what LeBron started with to what it is now. Don't think that LeBron grew up in this era. He didn't. He's playing in it now, but when he started, it was nothing like this. Nothing like this. 24-hour debate shows didn't exist. Newspapers were still dominant. Web pages and stuff like that
Hold up.
were
Newspapers were
nothing
still
like they
hold
were
up.
today.
Newspapers were still dominant in 2000 and two.
LeBron was a teenager in the 90s. He was drafted in '03. He went to high school. He made life choices prior to being drafted, sir. Yes. He's been with the same woman since high school. I'm telling you, there's a difference in their personalities. That's what I'm. If this you acknowledge that difference, right?
There is a difference, but he still
And it's
grew up
not
in social
because
media
social
after.
media made LeBron.
I
LeBron
didn't. I
chose
didn't
who
say.
he was
I didn't say it
prior
made
to
him.
that.
I didn't say it made him. I said you can't tell me that it didn't play a part in some of his
What part did
decisions.
it play prior to it existing when he was forming who he's the same person now as he was then? What part did it play when it didn't even exist yet?
Was the man not? Did the man not have all eyes on him in high school? I mean,
Of course he did.
the man was on ESPN. The man was on all kind of different avenues,
Hmm.
socially active.
Magazines existed with Jordan, yes.
Yeah,
TV existed with Jordan. He
not
didn't play in black and white.
not nearly as much as what LeBron has came
When
through.
Jordan reached his true peak, the league was already rescued and saved. ESPN was already a thing. He didn't grow up in Bill Russell era.
There's no way
Stop trying
that
to compare
no way.
like Jordan
I'm not
didn't grow up
comparing.
with access to him.
I'm not comparing. I'm just showing there is a difference in that. In both areas, there's a
There's a
difference.
difference. There's a difference, but LeBron has played through multiple eras. Understand the difference.
I'm
What
not
it is?
faulting
Okay,
LeBron
listen.
for his
Just
choices.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
move
faulting
on
him
from
at
this
all.
point.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna move
You
on.
keep
I'm gonna
saying,
move on from this point. But listen,
please.
what it is today is nothing like it was when LeBron came into the league, and that's
Okay.
a pure fact.
Okay.
So what influences people to do right and wrong today didn't influence him then because all eyes on him were the same as they were all eyes on Sebastian Telfair and Kobe Bryant. Those
Okay.
high school Kevin Garnett's. When you were those dominant people in high school, you had the paparazzi follow you. You were on Sports Center. You were on the magazines. You were getting all the notoriety. No, this is not new to LeBron.
First of
LeBron's
all,
personality
fir-
made him make choices that
first
Jordan's
of all,
personality didn't. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not taking anything from the man because the man has made great decisions in life.
And that
I'm not
happened
saying
before Twitter existed.
that Twitter wasn't even the biggest. Never mind. Anyways,
I'm
like
just
I
saying
said,
before the world was connected like it is now, it wasn't connected like that when LeBron was coming up. That's what I'm trying to say. I grew up in that. We were
okay,
still separated. The internet existed, but we all weren't on there like that.
okay.
Let's get back to longevity. But I'm just telling you, whatever you trying to the route you going,
I'm not
no,
making no route.
I think Jordan's personality would not have had him make the same choices. Go ahead.
Anyways, anyways, because I don't like that because you're assuming that because Jordan you're making it seem that Jordan is just this bad person that made
No,
bad choices throughout all of life, and that's
no.
not the case.
I'm not saying Jordan made any bad anything. Smoking and drinking and gambling aren't bad in that sense. Jordan had a successful career, arguably 1, 2, where that's where we're at. He's 1 or 2. That doesn't mean he made bad choices. I said he made different choices. The question was if he had access to what LeBron had access to, would he have the same type of longevity? And I said no. Let's be honest. Jordan he chose to walk away from the game, correct?
Yeah, for a really big reason.
He chose to walk away from the game.
Yeah, for a really big reason.
Okay, LeBron ain't walked away from the game in 20 years and he's had loss in his life.
Okay, he had the opportunity to go do something that his father did.
Let's just be real. The
He's faulted
real
for that.
reason,
He's
the
faulted for
real
that.
reason as discussed, the real reason that Jordan walked away was a private suspension from the NBA because of Jordan's gambling choices. Now you don't have to believe Mike Miller on it. The people around there, even Skip Bayless, the biggest Jordan guy, speaks to that truth. But that's not the truth that's the narrative we're gonna paint. He just retired and went to baseball. We're just gonna say that for PC. But everyone knows what the truth was. That's an indictment on Jordan's personality that interrupted his NBA longevity.
So you really believe that if Jordan literally had all of the different technology, medical therapies, technology that has advanced over these past 20 plus years, you mean to tell me he still wouldn't be doing what he was doing? Are you serious?
I've answered this. He would not play for 20 years. I've answered this. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe that who Jordan was is who Jordan was, and who LeBron is who they are. LeBron's personality being as as Boy Scoutish as it is, at least mainstream, has allowed him to navigate that. Jordan, we don't know how. You talk about assuming. You realize the assumption you have to make to say Jordan would be a completely different
I'm
person?
not even making assumption that I mean that's an honest truth. If you have more technology to help you, let's say for the smoking and the
Do you
drinking and
realize
things of that
athletes
nature,
today have access to what LeBron does and they don't invest in their body? They have
that's
what LeBron has
but that's
access
not
to.
that's not Jordan. We talking about Jordan. We're not talking about the other
No, but
athletes.
I'm saying don't act like just because technology is here that people would just automatically take it.
Coming from a person that is a very competitive person, you mean to tell me he wouldn't take advantage of something to make him better? Are
You
you
don't think that
crazy?
Jordan knew that his gambling and partying and smoking and drinking and his activity, you don't think that he understood?
And I'm pretty sure he has some avenues back then to help him get back into shape
Hold on,
quick
you don't
too.
I'm saying you don't think he understood right and wrong? Internet didn't create right and wrong all of a sudden. Come on, man, you're being crazy. Look, I got some things to talk about longevity, man. This is a crazy thing. You
No,
always sidetrack
I'm not
easy
sidetracking nothing.
conversation.
That's an honest conversation.
Well, you're making a lot of assumptions that Jordan would be a completely different person than who he was. Yeah, I'm not. I'm saying Jordan is who he is. If he was faced with today, he would not make the same choices LeBron has made.
You crazy. You crazy.
It's as simple as that.
You crazy. Go ahead and say what you gotta say. Cause we gonna come back to something, but go ahead and say what you gotta say.
No, I'm just here to talk about longevity. You talking about some
Go,
hypothetical.
go ahead and say
Weird.
go ahead and say what you gotta say. Like I said, go ahead and say what you gotta say.
What's our guess? Uh, what's our guest got to say so far? Let me look at this here.
You see it right there.
Um,
You see it right there. All right there.
Look, our friend of the show, Mark. True, LeBron made better choices than Jordan did before social media, but after the internet. I agree 100%. I said that. The difference, Mark, that I would say about the internet pre-social media versus post is the world was not as connected, or the pressures weren't the same, or the all eyes wasn't on.
Still the
I
internet.
know what internet was back in those days. It was dial up with AOL.
Just because you didn't utilize it like that doesn't mean other people didn't.
It was dial up with AOL in the 90s. Let's just
You
be real about that.
you
We're
could
talking
really
about the common
you could really
home in America.
you could really use internet now. So
We're
that
talking about the common home in America, 1G, Mark, 1G, if we being real. Not 2G, not 3G, not 4,
but still
5G.
I don't care how slow it is, it still connects people.
No, but the point is, not
Okay,
everybody
show.
had cell phones like they do today. Not everybody had the internet. But I agree with Mark. Let's see. Jordan would have the same longevity. He was an athletic freak. That rumor, that was a rumor, Miller, not substantiated. It was substantiated enough for me. Skip
Yeah.
Bayless and all those that followed the historic part of it. The
It's
NBA
amazing.
PC narrative, yeah, it's not
It's
substantiated.
amazing how you believe men when it comes to bad mouthing Michael Jordan. Boy, I tell
There
you.
is not a bigger Michael Jordan fan on the planet than
I
Skip
tell
Bayless
you.
because
I tell
he.
you, boy.
No, listen. There's not a bigger Michael Jordan fan than Skip Bayless on
Isn't
the
he known
planet.
for saying silliness? Isn't he known for saying
Understand
silliness?
what I'm saying. There's not a bigger cheerleader for this man because his
Is
passion in
he
life
known?
is to
Is
prop
he known?
Jordan up.
Is
And
he
what I'm
known?
saying is Skip Bayless
Is he
co-signed him.
known? Is he known for saying foolishness? It's real
Let's see.
simple.
Jordan did all of that and still scored 30 points a game. Mark, I'm not his achievement over his reign is not in question. So understand that what you're saying is true and what I'm saying is true. So I think we're in agreement there. But look, let me get to a few longevity things. I have stuff that speaks to longevity if we're
Go
going to
ahead.
compare them.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
because you in La La Land,
No. I'm not in La La Land because I've already told you I give the
Caleb.
longevity to the man. I already
Caleb,
told you.
I thought that we were talking longevity as well, not the internet. But as usual, my
It's
co-host
cool,
took a
man.
sidetrack
It's cool, man.
to
Go ahead.
derail
Go ahead. Go
the,
ahead. Talk
the
about. Go ahead.
facts.
Talk about. Go ahead. Talk
He's
about
over in the
longevity.
never-ending story over there in
No,
fiction.
I'm not. I'm bringing some other stuff to the table because obviously I said it's a landslide. The man
Let me
playing
stick
longer.
to facts. Are you into
Obviously,
facts?
go say what you gotta say, man. Go say what you
I'm
gotta
not
say.
into fiction. I'm not into fiction. I'm not that kind of guy. I
Go,
like
go
facts.
say what you gotta say, man.
All right. So facts is the average length of an NBA career is 4 to 4.5 years. Right?
You tell me.
I mean, that's what I got, by the
You
average
tell
age.
you
Some
you tell
say
me.
4, some say 4.5 years.
You tell me.
Well, let's just say that LeBron is in year 20. That
I ain't
speaks
seen,
to longevity there.
I haven't seen
Let's
one
just talk
player.
about
I haven't
how
seen a lot
LeBron.
of player. I haven't seen a lot of players just play 4 years. But go ahead.
You haven't
How
seen a what?
how is the average that low? And I haven't really seen that many players play
That's
for
because you're
just four
focused on
years.
those people on the court versus the entire all the NBA players.
I'm talking about the role players and stuff too.
Yeah, many of them definitely will
I,
get drafted and cut. You think every player that get drafted each year? I mean, come on, man, they not making it. With that being said,
I don't know if that's an average though. But go ahead.
look, LeBron was drafted in 2003. In 2006, he was a top five scorer in the league. Guess what he was in year 19? A top five scorer in the league. All the names around him changed around that top five from year 2006 to 2022. You know which one was still there? LeBron. That speaks to longevity. That's 16 years
I'm not arguing with you. That's great.
in which he's a top five scorer in this league, and the man ain't even a six. Guess what 16 years represents? Longer than Jordan's career. And you're gonna talk to me about longevity?
Did I say he was more longevity than LeBron? Did I open up saying
No,
that?
I ain't. You
No,
ain't
I
gotta
didn't.
say it. You ain't gotta say it because I'm saying LeBron is killing him in this.
I
Easy hands
clearly
down.
I clearly said that. We agree. We
The
agree.
funny part is about this longevity thing, right? 2006, he averaged 27.3 points. He averaged 30.3 points per game last year, year 19. He's aging like fine wine, folks. What did Jordan average in Washington? The years that are forgotten, the years that Jordan fans don't want to acknowledge. What he
I
averaged then?
I acknowledged it.
Oh, okay.
You heard me say that. I said that earlier.
He was all NBA 18 times in a 19-year career so far. He's been all NBA more than Jordan ever played on the NBA team. What are we talking about, folks? You know who's second in most NBA? Most all NBA selections? It's 15 selections. Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul. This
Mm.
man is in a league of his own when we're talking about longevity. I didn't say Jordan. I said Kobe, Tim Duncan, and Kareem for those that were listening. The topic is longevity. So if you're an unbiased person listening out here, don't bring me no longevity silliness with Jordan. All I'm going to say is I'm going to talk to you about longevity, right, co-host?
I'm listening.
The new Lakers, not the new Lakers, the Celtics head coach. When he started out, LeBron was drafted. Oh wait, I'm not talking about as a coach. I'm talking about as a player. And now LeBron's playing in the same league as him. 2003, that man started his career. He came into the league with Bron. Now he's the head coach of a franchise. LeBron's still in the MVP conversation. Man, what are we talking about longevity for? I don't know what to tell you. Lately, or here recently, Larry Bird was interviewed. He was quoted to say, I can't compare LeBron James to anybody because he's just so great. This is Larry Legend. He dominated Michael Jordan. Once he got old, Jordan took off. Come on, man. Talk to me about longevity. Who has the most playoff points in NBA history, co-host?
It's LeBron.
Oh, LeBron James, not your precious Jordan.
But see, like I said, I don't know why you keep going back to me like I said something wrong. I clearly agree with you. I started out with the podcast with that.
Let me ask you a different question.
Was that
Who has the most three pointers in NBA Finals history?
you're going to say LeBron James? It is LeBron. He's also
LeBron James. The
he's
man
he's
can't shoot.
he's also played in more playoffs because he's
The
played
man
longer.
can't shoot. He's not a shooter. He's not a scorer, according to my co-host. He
He's
can't
played
hit the
longer.
ocean
He's
with a
played
basketball.
he's played longer too. So
What's the topic?
I'm sorry, my fault. Yeah, he played
What's the
longer.
topic?
Longevity. He played
If
longer.
the topic is longevity, saying he's played longer helps my case.
That's what I'm saying. He played longer. I agree with you. He played longer.
Let me ask you this. They kept these stats for a long time. Who scored the most consecutive points in a playoff game?
It's LeBron right now. Yeah,
LeBron James, 25 straight
yeah,
against the '07 Pistons, who just came off, running that thing. 25 straight against one of the better defensive groups in the history of the league. The defense, the Detroit Pistons. The man was shooting threes. He was shooting fadeaways, getting to the bucket. It didn't matter.
yeah. He's Steph Curry.
They
He's
were
Steph.
down game 5, and he took that over in that very important game 5, and he did what he had to do.
Yeah,
He ended up with 48 that game, FY.
he got the same numbers as Steph Curry for the 3-point line.
Let me ask you this.
He's the best.
Longevity.
He's the best
When
shooter.
you talk about a player that's played a really long time, averages are harder to maintain. See, you have a short career, it's easy to have a high average. And people say, "Oh, he's not clutch." Game 7 don't get much clutcher than that. Do it, co-host.
We're not talking about clutch. We talking about longevity.
I'm asking you a question. This is a stat that's achieved over the longest
Oh,
period
okay.
of time.
Oh, okay.
Is to get more clutch in Game 7? Well, my guy averages the most points in Game 7s, 33.2 points over a 20-year career.
He definitely got that. Jordan never went to Game 7, so
Hey, he did go to Game 7s.
he didn't need to.
I remember he going to an epic Game 7 against my Pacers.
He didn't need to.
Eastern Conference Finals, 1998.
I'm,
Don't talk to me about Game
I'm talking
Sevens.
about. I'm
The
talking about
man
the
did
finals.
experience Game Seven.
We talking about the finals, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm just saying Game Sevens. Period in the playoffs. Period.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Longevity. I give you another longevity stat. 34 conference player of the months. 34.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you know how many conference player of the months that is.
Man, he been in here this long. He still ain't got
Let me say this:
DPOY.
Jordan plus Kobe. Jordan plus Kobe have 33 conference player of the most.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron by himself have 34.
Was conference player of the month a big thing back then? I'm just asking.
It
Was
was
it
an
a big?
award they gave out, sir.
Was something back then? Oh, okay.
It was an award they gave out, sir. I got a comment that I'm hearing. Look. I got a comment here that says, "Stop it." Jordan played against 3 powerhouse franchises: Boston, Detroit, and the Lakers, and beat them all. I don't recall Jordan beating prime Boston in the '80s. I don't recall him beating prime Detroit in the '80s. I remember them winning 2 rings on Jordan's watch. And the Lakers, he never beat them in their prime.
Yeah,
Stop it. Jordan didn't start winning until the '90s. It took Magic. Magic
yeah,
Johnson had to have AIDS before Jordan beat that man. You
yeah.
better stop it.
It's
Larry
amazing.
Legend had
Yeah,
no
it was.
back.
Yeah, it was tough back in that day.
He had no back.
Unlike the weak Eastern Conference that
By
LeBron
the
came.
time, listen, I'm just speaking to our commenter. By the time Jordan faced the Celtics, Larry Legend couldn't even walk. He was like Andre the Giant. Come on, man, stop it. And Detroit, please. The man was 40 years old out there playing. They
Hey,
already did what they had to do. Back
yeah,
to back.
if I was LeBron, I'd walk through the East too. They was weak.
Oh, ain't no weak. Stop it.
The East was
Stop
weak.
it.
They
Is
went
it
weak.
look, the Warriors arguably is one of
The
the
East went
greatest
weak.
franchise
No, no,
runs in the
no.
history.
That's the
Hold
West.
on.
That's the West. I said the
No.
East.
But we're talking about matching them up in the
No,
finals.
no, no. We're talking about the East when you're talking about these conference.
No.
These
He
conference.
mentioned the Lakers. The Lakers ain't in.
I'm
Look,
not
he
talking
talking
about
about
the Lakers.
franchises.
I'm not talking
He
about the Lakers.
I said our listener. He
Okay.
talked about the Lakers. He just saying franchises that were powerhouses during that era, and he's right. He's right. Now, listen, all I'm going to say to you, however, is the Spurs, the Warriors, one of the greatest 2 dynasties in the history this game has seen. Now, Cole, so are you going to diminish the Warriors dynasty
I am
to
not.
diminish LeBron?
I am not.
Okay, thank you. What about the Spurs? You going
They
to diminish that?
they were running the ship there for a while.
Yeah, LeBron faced them too in the finals a couple different times in his era, in his, some argue his prime era. The Spurs were still holding on and doing their thing. Let's not talk to me about powerhouses. Back to before I was rudely interrupted, rudely interrupted by our listeners. Don't make me come up out of that audience now.
You ain't gonna
Listen,
do
I'm gonna talk about longevity. See, I'm gonna stick to this longevity. Jordan literally just can't compare. The man made life choices that forced him out of the game. Whichever narrative you want
That's a
to go
good
with,
narrative. That's a good narrative.
whichever narrative you want to go with, whether it's mine that he was forced out the game for a private suspension, or if it's Fitz's that he actually retired the game and he just chose to go into a different direction in his life. Those are
Because that's
life choices.
because that's
Either
what
way,
because that's what was reported. I can only
either
go off of what
way,
was reported. I can't go off of assumption.
yeah, yeah. Either way, in Jordan's peak years, coming off a three-peat, he left the game in your narrative to pursue other matters. That tells me what I need to know about his love for the game and his competitive nature. That he left the game, and there were still dominant teams right then that he could have faced that he hadn't conquered yet. He hadn't beat the Hakeem teams. He hadn't beaten the Orlando, the Magic in that way. He could have did that, but we never got that Hakeem finals matchup, did we? No, he was over playing baseball, batting 220. Anyway,
Yeah, he was a dual athlete. I commend him for it.
I'm gonna talk to you about longevity, Cole, because that's the topic: longevity.
I'm waiting for
Only
you.
5 players in NBA history had led their team in all 5 major categories. We're talking points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. This is for a season, right? Dave Cohen, Scottie Pippen, Kevin Garnett, Giannis, and LeBron James. I don't see Jordan on that list. I don't see Jordan on that list. You telling me Jordan didn't have the responsibility of doing all the things on his team and he
Can you
still
name?
couldn't play
Can you can
longer
you name?
than
Can you
those
name? Can you name the players one more time?
Dave Cohen, Scottie Pippen, Kevin Garnett, Giannis, and LeBron James.
Aren't those all forwards?
I don't know who Dave Cohen is. I couldn't tell you.
I think those are
It was
all
in the
forwards.
70s. It
I
was in
think
the
those all.
70s.
I think those are
Pippen's
all
a small
forwards.
forward. Kevin Garnett was a power forward. LeBron James is a 1 through 5.
No,
And,
no, no,
and
no, 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 no. LeBron is listed as a small forward.
well, he started an entire season at point guard and won the
No, no, no,
assist
no, no,
title.
no, no, no. He is listed as a small forward,
I'm gonna say this again.
which
He,
goes back to my original comment in one of our earlier episodes that it's more likely for a bigger, taller person to get a rebound over a smaller guard. So yes, he should have a good average in
I,
rebounds and things of that
I'm
nature.
gonna say this again.
Duh.
I'm gonna say this again. LeBron James started an entire season at point guard for the Lakers the year that they won the championship.
That doesn't mean he's a point guard.
No, listen. He started and finished the season at point guard, never wavered from that role.
He's
He
still
started at the
listed.
one.
He's listed as a small
No, he
forward.
started at the one that season.
Okay.
This past season, year 19, he
Okay.
literally started at
Let,
center.
let's look at LeBron James. His let's look at his what he is on
Fitz, can you deny what I'm saying or no?
who, yes, he started at the point guard. That doesn't mean
Thank you.
he's a
Did he
point
start at
guard.
center? Did he start at center the majority of this year 19?
Y'all crazy. You crazy.
As I said, the man started 1 through 5, and he's on this list. The point that I'm making by bringing up this player who's led in all 5 categories is that Jordan's running mate,
That's
his
fine.
Robin,
That is so
did
fun.
so much of the heavy lifting for Jordan that he led the team in those things. He guarded the top person. He had one of the super uber guys playing alongside him.
And yet
Top
Scotty could
50 player.
and yet Scotty couldn't win a ship without Jordan.
Focus. Focus.
He still couldn't win one
The
without
point that I'm making is not what you're trying to say. The point I'm making is Jordan didn't have all the heavy lifting that LeBron James has had throughout his entire career,
hmm
and his career still wasn't as long.
hmm
The conversation is longevity. My point is about longevity.
Yeah, he's still playing.
Your
You're right.
point, your point about something else.
He's still playing. You're right.
Let me just say this. LeBron James, my co-host, said that he told me this in a conversation recently. This is off camera. You acting like LeBron was some great scorer or something. End quote. Yeah, by age 33, LeBron scored more points than anyone.
You
even if
can't.
you include college years.
Don't quote me on that unless you got it for true, because I
Oh,
don't
I'll
think
show the screenshot. Don't
I
make me show the screenshot. I got
don't
the
think I said
receipts.
I don't think I said that.
You can call me Monique.
Okay.
By age 33, LeBron has scored 29,759 points. Wilt scored 28,533. Kobe, 27,868. Kareem, 26,498. Michael Jordan, by age 33, only scored 25,332. This
It's
is
still
including college years.
it's still averaged over 30.
And as I shown by my last longevity stat, Jordan was able to focus on scoring. Trust me, man. All I know is it's been over 40 times that LeBron James has led his team in points, rebound, assists in the playoffs where it counts most. You know who's second in that?
Who's
Not
second?
Michael Jordan. Not Michael Jordan.
Who's second?
Larry Bird with 13. 13. LeBron has over 30 more times in which he had to do the heavy lifting. The point of this stat is to show you what's on the shoulders of LeBron James, and he's still playing in year 20. Jordan was able to focus his energy. LeBron had to do it all. Come on, co-host.
I'm not arguing with you. I told you he wins this category by a landslide. Did I not?
I'm,
I can show
I'm
you.
simply
I can
just
show you. I
asking
can show.
you.
I can show you the receipt for that when I said it.
I'm just trying to make sure that we're all clear here. That it's not just that he's played more years. He's had to burden so much more. Can we be honest?
No. It definitely has something to do with the years. I can't. I can't
I'm
knock
trying
that.
to say that the years mean that much more considering the workload he's taken on. I'm just not going to say, oh, he just played longer. That's too easy. That's on the surface. I'm going deeper.
But didn't LeBron play with other stars and stuff too throughout his longevity?
Sure. And he never played with nobody that led his team in those things that I just said.
But they
LeBron
helped.
has done that time in and time out, year in, year out.
But they helped though, right?
Look, I mean, every teammate helps. That's not the point. I'm
No,
talking about the burden that the individual carries. Look, we got a
I
few,
don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a burden if they help him like that though. That's the thing.
of course it's a burden. That's
Mm,
why LeBron led his team in those stats. He didn't have Rodman on his team. He didn't have Pippen on his team. At any point in his entire career, LeBron never played with a Rodman nor a Pippen.
you're right. He had Bosch. He had Wade.
Neither one is Rodman or Pippen in what they do.
He had Melo. He had
Neither one is Rodman or Pippen in what they do.
Kyrie, Kate
Yep.
Love.
Hmm.
Who else? Who else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing some people. He
You
played with a lot of
you
people.
showed okay.
He played with a lot of
Let's
people.
take it a little bit.
He
Let's
played
take
with
it
a
a
lot.
little bit. You tell me which one was
He
a
played with
Hall
a
of
lot.
Fame rebounder like Rodman.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No,
He played with a lot
I'll
of
wait.
people. He played
Tell
with
me
all the
which
All
one.
Stars. He played with all those All
No,
Stars.
no, no.
All those
Tell me
All Stars.
which one took the
All
burden
those
of
All
rebounding
Stars.
off of LeBron.
All those All Stars he played with.
I'm asking a legit question.
I am too.
Which one took the burden off of him?
No matter. He played with all those All Stars. So the
Oh,
burden couldn't have
okay.
been that high.
Which
Couldn't have been
one?
that high. Couldn't have been that high.
So no one took the burden of rebounding off of him, right?
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there, man.
There's a reason why he led his team in those stats because he didn't have the Robins or the Pippen on his team. You can name all the All Stars you want. He didn't have those guys that took that workload off of him like Jordan benefited from. I want to dive in the comments for a second.
Go ahead.
I want to dive in the comments for a second. As usual, Mark's been drinking. Mark's been drinking. He said Duncan was writing his Hall of Fame acceptance speech by the time LeBron beat him. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. He's arguably the best power forward to ever play the game. That man was still dominating based on Duncan's game. It ain't never flashy to begin with. He was
And
still
I
doing
agree.
everything
And
he
I
wanted
agree
to do.
with. And I agree with that, Mark. Which point guard did take the scoring burden off of Jordan?
Look, we not to that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're
I
not
just
to
saw
that
that
yet.
come across. My fault. I just saw that come across. My fault.
We not to that yet. You
Sorry,
know,
my fault. I was just throwing it out there.
you had
I
a
saw,
pocket.
but I saw it. I saw this.
Yeah,
I saw it
you
come
out of
across the
pocket.
screen.
That's
I
all I'm
saw it
saying.
come across. We were talking about that stuff, so I thought I would just say that. That's all. That we were talking about that, and I agree with that. He
It
had no
said,
point guard.
uh, "This is after another shot." Excuse me. If Jordan would have jumped into a different team every time his team sucked, he would have won 12 championships. LeBron moves every time things get tight.
He does. That he do.
Well, all I know is 7 of those 19 years so far, he stayed in Cleveland. He didn't demand a trade. He stayed there. Cleveland showed inept management. I would say if I wanted to go this hypothetical, never ending story fiction route that you guys want to go, if Cleveland was managed like the Bulls management put together those teams, he would have never left Cleveland. But we'll never know what Jordan would have done because Cleveland never was able to draft a Pippen. As another one of our commenters, Caleb, pointed out, you right, Pippen was drafted. I give him 100% to that. You show me where the any of Bron's team ever drafted any player like that. Never. That's because LeBron was able to get them to places where they had low draft picks. Say, what is this? What is this comment here? When did Jordan ever play with 2 of the top 5 players in his draft class? I don't know. That's a really weird. Um, that's a really weird comment. All I can say is during his six rings, he definitely played with top talent.
That wasn't the
The
question.
league
That
was.
wasn't the question. No, that wasn't the question.
I don't even know who was drafted with Jordan that was even in his runs. Pippen was drafted later. I'm not even sure when Rodman was drafted. His year, I couldn't even tell you the year Rodman was drafted. I don't even know if he ever played in anybody that he was drafted with. As far as you talk about draft class, so I'm not even sure. Friend of the show, Brendan Oakley, your point is even coherent. What I will ask you is, are you with Mark?
He's a
Are y'all
Jordan fan.
drinking the same stuff?
He's a Jordan fan.
Are you guys drinking the same stuff?
Wow.
What's that song the young kids used to sipping on some scissor? Listen, I'm old, and that's all I'm gonna say. These guys is a little tipsy. No, I don't know anything about his draft class and who he played with. I'm not sure what that does for me. But let's go back in here.
I just wish Jordan.
But I appreciate you listening.
I just wish Jordan had the opportunity to play with Shaq like LeBron did.
Wow, are you? What's in your cup?
I'm just
You
throwing
think
out.
that
I'm just
you
throwing
think
out
that
some
Shaq?
names.
You think the Shaq that played with Bron was anything?
He still was averaging 23.
Are
He was.
you telling me
I'm
that
not saying he
Shaq
was
was
great.
Bron?
I'm not saying he was great. I'm just saying what the numbers say. That's what the numbers say. He averaged 23 points. Did he or did he not?
Brandon Oakley says LeBron is great. I'm not hating, but he ain't the GOAT. I respect that. I never accused you of hating. I accused you of drinking. Um, this is the this is the morning smoke. We keep it real around here. I don't accuse you of hating. My co-host is a hater. You are just tipsy. That's it. Um, what else we got in here? What else we got in here? Look at the system. Caleb, he says, look at the system. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. He said, mortgage best. I'm on Caleb's point right now. He said, look at the system. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Caleb. Um, except if you LeBron is the system wherever he goes. And definitely Phil Jackson created a proven triangle. Yeah. He said, got about look, what else we got in here? Miller said, my response to valid points is slander. Well, if you ever see that kid that see a bit of an overweight person and they call him fat, it's rude. It's true. I don't know if that's slander. Mark,
Yeah.
you've been known to turn one back.
Yes.
My boy, the
It
one
is.
of the guys I accused of drinking, he mentions a bottle of Patronus waiting on him. I think I'm not far off here. That's all I'm saying. Hey, but I see you. That's all I'm saying. You lucky our boy James ain't in here, friend of the show. He definitely been drinking, and he's a Chicago guy. Wish he wasn't. Anyway, co-host. Look, I could come to you with a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I come to you with a lot of stuff. I mean, we talking about. I'm just curious if we compare the year 19s of Jordan and Bron, how they stack up to each other.
I already told you my opinion on that. Jordan gets the win for me because he did more in less time. So
Well, I'm a re-ask. I wonder if we compare year 19s of Jordan and year
I know,
19
I know, I
of
know what you're
LeBron.
saying. He never got to 19. I get it,
Okay.
but
Well, you know
again,
what?
as I stated, Jordan did more in less time.
So but that's not the topic.
I know
Topic's
it's not,
longevity.
but I was just going down
Okay.
I
Well,
was going down that road because that's what you said. You're trying to
well, the
you're
leader of
trying
the
to
Turtles.
you're trying to poke fun because the man didn't make it to
No, no,
19
no, no,
years,
no.
and that's okay,
I'm on
and that's
topic.
fine, and that's fine,
I'm
and
on
that's fine.
topic, but let me go off topic like my co-host. The
Nah,
leader of the Turtles
ain't
is
no need.
Leonardo.
You good. You good. Nah, you good. Go ahead. You good. You know what? It's your show. I'm just here. I'm not even.
Co-host. The
I'm just
leader of
here.
the Turtles is Leonardo.
I'm just
Now,
here,
what
bro.
relevance does that have to
Hey,
longevity?
hey, it's your show. I'm just here. That's why I gave the longevity. I knew it was going to be a Mike Miller route, so I'm just letting you have it. You got it. So
I'm just gonna do what I came to do, and then that's it, man.
do what you got to do. I gave you the show.
Year
Mike
19.
Michael Miller presents the Morning Smoke. This is his show.
Year nine. I like that. Year 19. LeBron scored over 30 points in 7 straight games. Jordan scored 0
Yeah.
because Jordan was over in China in his
Well,
sweatbox
there you go.
factories.
There go more slander. We didn't say nothing bad about LeBron. There go more slander. More
Oh
slander.
no, I heard a lot of bad things.
More slander. More slander. I
A
didn't
lot
say
of
nothing
bad
bad about
things.
LeBron. We didn't say nothing about LeBron.
A lot of bad things about LeBron.
What did we say about him? What did we say bad about LeBron? This whole top
I'm done
conversation.
with it. I
Exactly.
brought facts.
Exactly.
I brought facts, not fiction. I didn't bring hypotheticals. I don't need that for LeBron's case for longevity. My co-host had to dive in the world
No,
of
no, 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 no. Because I
Star
wasn't trying
Wars
to.
and Star Trek and
Because I wasn't
Disney.
trying to. See, that's what you fail to realize. You keep thinking that I brought that to try to make some valid point that he's more in longevity than what LeBron is. That wasn't the case. I was just trying to have a separate, open conversation about, hey, what if we watched the show? What if it was a great show? So now we can't talk about what ifs when it comes to sports. It's cool. You know what? This is why I said what I said earlier today. You know what I said earlier today, and I'm staying true to that. So you lucky it's the show. You lucky it's the show right now. You lucky.
Co-host,
Nope.
I got a question for you.
Nah, I ain't got no answer. I'm done.
Co-host,
I'm done, bro.
I got a question for you.
I ain't got none.
This is from the audience. Which one of LeBron's teams could beat the teams from the '90s?
Say it again. Who said that in the audience?
Brandon, friend of the show, Brandon. He said, which one of LeBron's team could beat them teams from the '90s? I assume since we're talking about LeBron versus Jordan, we're talking about the Jordan teams from the '90s. Now, do
I
you
would
think
say
any LeBron team could beat
I,
any of the Jordan teams?
I'll tell you one that match up the best is when LeBron was in his prime in Miami. Now, whether they would win or not is a totally different story.
Well,
But
let me just add, like I'm gonna expand on this a little bit. Now he's talking about the Knicks, the Baby Pacers, Shaq and Penny, Barkley, KJ, so the Suns,
it was
all
a
that, right?
like I said earlier, it was a packed out.
Cool. I could go through the valid teams in LeBron's era. That's not really the I mean to make it seem like there's no competition in LeBron's era is absolutely insane. But what I'm gonna ask you
But you
is,
could agree that the East is what he ran through the East like multiple years, back to back to back to back to back to back. There's a reason for that.
yeah, his greatness. Now what I'm gonna say to you is
You crazy.
he broke up the Pistons, he broke up the Celtics. I don't know what else you want me to say. He kept
No.
the Pacers who were knocking on the door, he kept them out of it. Let's not just act like the
You really
East wasn't
believe in the
there.
Pacers in the 2000 era? Except the one team that got beat
Yeah,
up by Detroit at the
that's why
buzzer
the Pacers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. How many times in the 2000s?
because it's a
Oh,
weak
okay,
East. Yeah, because it was a
okay.
weak East.
It's always something, ain't it? Imagine that. It's always something.
It was a weak East. It's not
Now,
that
now
you
let that's a narrative. Just like Jordan, I'm just like LeBron ain't clutch. It's a narrative, but it's false.
never said he wasn't clutch.
Let me ask you this: the '91 Bulls, Jordan's first championship, that the Bron Heat, his best version, if you want to take that, or the 16 Cavs, whichever. I think those we would argue is the two best Bron versions. They not beating the 91 Bulls.
What was what was LeBron's numbers? Obviously beyond the offensive side. What was his defensive numbers that year? Do you know that off top?
You talking about who? Jordan?
No. I'm talking about LeBron. Like, how was he doing defensively in those years?
He in the Miami years, he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He was first team All Defense
Was
and
that
the
is
second team
is
All
that the
Defensive
is
guy,
that the is that the
Marcus.
team that you're talking about that's going up against his 91 Bulls?
If you want to talk about the Heat, the team that won 20 some straight, yeah, I mean consecutive games, the damn near broke the record. Yeah,
I'm just no,
yeah,
I'm
they
just
played defense and offense. Yeah, they were dogs. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm just asking a simple question.
I'm trying to get the right matchups. That's
No
all.
one calls that 91 Bulls team all time dominant, right? They won the ring though.
Right.
They was in the 90s. I'm just asking, is prime LeBron's teams not better than that 91 Bulls team? This is really easy for me. Of course it is. Of course it's better than the 91 Bulls team.
I don't know about that. I think it
Of
would be.
course it's better than the 92 Bulls team.
I think it'd be a great matchup though.
Of course.
I don't think they're just
It's,
that better though.
of course it's better. Of course Bron's teams beats the Knicks with John Starks and Patrick Ewing.
We're not talking about the Knicks. We talking about
No. Our audience said
oh,
this.
okay. Oh, okay.
Of course, Shaq and Penny would be a challenge for anyone. The difference that you don't understand is that was not prime Shaq, and there was a reason why he was not ready to win yet. But of course, they would present a challenge to anyone because Shaq is a beast. But let's
Let's
just not act like that team did anything.
let's keep going with the comments. So dang near any team had a chance at the championship back then, but Jordan and the Bulls kept them from it. How many powerhouse teams have LeBron kept from a chip?
Well, let's put it like this: Jordan played how many years?
15 total.
That means 9 teams won rings on his watch.
What do
9
you
teams. 9 teams won championships. I know Jordan fans don't like the truth, but Jordan didn't keep everybody from winning. Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in '88.
Well, really, you said he played 11 because
No,
you
no,
said you
no.
say
I
then
asked you a question. You gave me 15.
you
The
giving
the
him less
reality,
years. Then you give him less years for a reason.
but remember, this is longevity, so we got to count it.
Oh, okay.
What I spoke
I
on
just
was
wanted
his
to throw that
prime. Remember, I spoke on it as prime. What
out.
I'm
Okay.
saying though is he played 15. To compare 11 and 20 is just crazy, but I'm gonna give him 15. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is he didn't beat none of the powerhouses from the 80s. And in 88 was probably Jordan's most dominant year. He's probably the most dominant force we ever even seen outside of a big man in 1988. He couldn't get past them Pistons. Stop it. I watched basketball then. My co-host was still spitting up on his mama's shoulder in '88.
And there goes the slander again.
You see, he's got 1987. He was spitting up on his mama's shoulder.
The slander. That
I
that's
was sitting on the couch eating popcorn, watching the games.
I ain't said
Let's
nothing bad.
stop.
I ain't said nothing bad about my co-host, and he
Let's
just
stop.
it's crazy out here,
Keep
boy.
with the comments. Let's see.
It's crazy out here.
Let's see. He said, "I give you that with the '91 Bulls versus Prime Brom." You know what, Brandon? Finally, some objectivity. Finally, some objectivity.
I'm laughing at the other comment.
What did he say? He said, "With that logic, you might as well call LeBron Jacob the Jew." Everybody has gotten rings during Bron's era.
Show has.
Well, look, all I know is the reality that I'm gonna bring to the conversation. Jordan didn't win it every year, folks. People won rings on his watch,
That's
and
true.
powerhouse teams beat Jordan.
But
It wasn't until Jordan had to.
his ratio is a lot better than LeBron's. I tell you
And,
that.
and I'll say, I'm gonna ask a question to our audience. Everyone, please comment on here. Co-host this to you. It's my last question of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
I simply want to know. He said, "Good." I told you they sit next to each other drinking. Um, Mark, stop it. You got to work tomorrow. Put the drink down. Um, he said nobody can handle 91 Jordan. Well, Gary Payton almost handled 91 Jordan. Pippen had to take over guarding him. So let's not. I,
Almost doesn't count.
oh no, that's not 90. That's 93. 91 Jordan is against the Lakers. Well, I mean, yeah, AIDS, Magic Johnson couldn't handle him, and Kareem was retired, and Worthy was hurt. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't talk about the A's now. Don't mention that now. That don't use that as a
I
crutch.
don't know what to tell you.
Don't use that as a crutch now. You ain't been using it.
Mark, I don't appreciate. Look, you tested me with these comments. You threw me off. I forgot my question. Let me think about this for a second. What was my question?
Yeah, call out
What was
silly.
my
Just throw you off. You're right.
what were we talking?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't even know the question now. Dang it,
I'm,
dang it, dang
I'm
it.
glad.
What you
I'm glad.
got, co-host, and I'm gonna come
Thanks,
back
Mark.
to it.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Well, what you got? That don't happen very often by trade of thought, but the boys throwing real slander out there. Real slander. Um, talk about slander. Oh, co-host, what you got, man? Real quick.
I ain't got nothing. I already told you. I opened up with I opened up with defeat. I said, look, there's no comparison. There's one person here that's played 15 years. There's one person that is still playing currently, going into 20. I mean, there's no comparison at that point. So obviously LeBron is going to win the longevity because he's still playing. He's still currently playing, and he's still playing at a high level. So
Hey, Mark, I remember my question. Um, listen, I know the answer to this question. How many of Jordan's teams were favored to win their championships? So we're talking about 6 finals appearances.
can I ask you? Can I ask a question to follow up with that question?
Well, let's get through this first
Okay,
because we're talking about what
because
this
I
or
don't
that.
like because I don't like that question already. I'm gonna tell you why, but keep going.
Well, I'm saying it speaks to what I'm trying to. My point
Go
is
ahead.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
Bulls were the best team when they won, and the LeBron teams weren't always the best team when they lost. Right? They weren't
Mhm.
even all the best. They weren't even always the best team when they won a ring.
That should really speak to his longevity.
This ain't really about longevity. It's more about comments in here, right?
I'm just
Uh,
saying that should speak more to LeBron than what you're getting ready to say about Jordan.
no, I'm just expressing to you when they were talking about which team could win in which era and stuff like that. I'm just trying to express to you that the Bulls had the best team. The Bulls had the best management. The Bulls were putting together the best rosters. They drafted excellent. They made excellent signings. And this is before the era of player empowerment, which LeBron created. And all I'm going to say to you is that 5 out of 6 Jordan Finals teams were favored. Jordan only upset one, and that was the 91 finals, his first championship when he beat the Lakers. The next 5, the Bulls were favored. LeBron has been favored in two. Two. Don't believe me? Go research it. LeBron has been favored in two, and of being favored, he lost in one of them against the Mavs. It's a black
So
mark on his record.
so you're going to penalize him for being a
No, no,
dog?
no. There's no penalty. It's just a fun fact based on the comments. Ain't nothing to do with longevity. It just speaks to really who had
That's
the
great.
better teams.
I think that's great where you can be the dog every year from year to year. That's why I mean,
I don't know what you I don't know
just
what
like
you're saying compared
just
to what
like
I
I
just said.
just like I give credit to the Warriors for being the dog for as many years as they have been. So
We're gonna wrap. Look, Coast. We're gonna wrap. What does it say? He said, Are we talking hand check rules or today's rules? You can't breathe on me rules. Wow. We had this deep conversation in a different scenario. Um, and if I were to like do this hypotheticals, it would really be a combination in between the rules that transition between the 90s and today's era. It wouldn't be either era to be. It'd be in between. He said Another comment. I mean, technically, he ain't playing. Talking about LeBron. Ninja ain't even make the playoffs.
It's true. That's true. That's true statement right there. He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Said he's
And
only
yet,
been
and
favored
yet,
in two.
and yet, Brandon, my co-host, continues to keep trying to bring him relevancy when he ain't even playing.
Well, the number one sports show on TV, the Undisputed, brings him up every day.
We ain't the undisputed. We the more than smoke. I
No, no,
thought you
no,
said
no,
you
no.
didn't want to be
I'm
like
just trying to
everybody else.
tell you that he's relevant, and I make sure that LeBron's mentioned every episode. How
I
many
thought
weeks straight now?
I thought we was trying to be better than our other people. I guess we the same. I
Listen,
guess. I guess we the same.
we're about
I
70.
think we was in competition from what a word from my co-host said.
I'm
I
not in
ain't worried about.
competition for that's a different
I
conversation.
ain't worried about nobody else.
I didn't bring them up saying that they're a competition. I'm saying we're about 70, 80 consecutive weeks of mentioning LeBron. We got to keep that going.
No, we don't. We really don't.
Um, he says he's been favored in two because people knew what to expect from him. You right, pure dominance. He said I got to give my guy Mike a hard time. That's my guy. You right, Brandon. And just as a drop a little nugget, Morning Smoke's coming with some merch, and we working some things out. I'm not gonna release that, but a good friend of the show, we're gonna work some things out, and we're dropping some merch. So I'm just gonna put that out there. We're gonna have some various options, logos, different things like that. My co-host is gonna
No, we're
work
not.
on that part.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
We are.
We're
We
gonna
are.
have a singular logo that signifies our podcast. It's a bold logo that's gonna have our branding of our podcast for people to see and catch their eye and wear with pride. There won't be any difference. There will be the same. We are going strong with the same.
For all you folks out there that recognize pettiness and silliness,
I'm
you
not
can
being
recognize
petty.
that the co-host is on that.
I'm not
But
being
I
petty.
enjoyed this. This is episode 3. What do we have, co-host, left in this Jordan Braun debate?
What else we got? Of course, we're going to talk about accomplishments. We have not talked about that yet. So I think we'll probably go down that road next episode. We'll talk about the accomplishments in between the two, and see what stacks up there. And then lastly, we'll talk about kind of some and it'll be more of a lighthearted one, I think, because we're just going to talk about the comparisons in between the different types of notable wins in between both competitors. So that'll be kind of more of a lighthearted one. So because it'll be really more of just us reminiscing some of the great moments in both of their histories. So but yeah, next one we'll be talking about accomplishments, all that good stuff. So
Cool. All right. Well, look, I definitely appreciate the conversation. LeBron's 3-0 so far in these debates,
that is boldface lie, but go ahead.
and I welcome you all to join our episode 4. And I agree with Brandon. Definitely, they're the greatest of their era, and that is all that should matter. Um, to some, that is all that should matter.
Not not for
LeBron
me.
being 1 or 2 is no shame to me. Just a preference and style of play. A little nugget about me is Magic Johnson was my favorite of all time, and LeBron came and improved that type of bigger player that does a little bit of everything. Jordan was never my favorite of all time. You mentioned the Boom Baby Pacers. It's Jordan's fault that we didn't do much more than what we did, so I don't appreciate that at all. And so Jordan never been. He's always been on my little poo poo list. We'll keep it PC. Um,
Your hate
for
list.
for listeners.
Just call it hate because that's what it is.
I dislike a lot of people. But anyway,
Yeah, okay.
that's all we got, man. Definitely tune in next week for episode 4. We're going to close this series out soon, and let the people decide with the comments, the views, everything like that. And check out our new TikTok. We definitely enjoying the tons of comments there. My co-host mainly gets a lot of the grief on there for some reason, so I don't know why. Um, that's coming, to you,
I really
but
have nothing else to say. So keep going. Keep going.
but definitely. But anyway, man, tell the folks where they can find us, man.
You don't want to close it out. You do everything else. You can
Don't
find
do that.
us. You can find us on JQLM Radio every Monday from 10 to 11 a.m. You can also catch us on Facebook and YouTube at the More Than Smoke Podcast. You can also catch us on Spotify, Anchor.fm. And as my co host has said, we are on TikTok and it is blowing up. So definitely continue to do that. We definitely appreciate it. So, but that's all I got. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing else.
I appreciate you. And our next content from us. What is this, Tuesday? Yeah, definitely check out our TikTok. Um, check out our TikTok drop for Wednesday. Should be a good one.
Should be.
All right. Well, peace out. Thanks for all our viewers, our comment, those commented. Still, even if it's not live, drop us your knowledge. Send us messages. Show whatever it is, points you want to make. We'll make sure that we get them out on air.
Peace.
Peace.